Paddy Pimblett just shook up the UFC lightweight division again. If he doesn't get Ilia Topuria, he's calling out Justin Gaethje, and if not him, Dan Hooker. But is the UFC buying it? Let's break it down. Paddy Pimblett is strongly pushing for a title fight against Ilia Topuria following UFC 317, where Topuria became the new lightweight champion. However, Pimblett recognizes that the UFC might not grant him an immediate shot at the belt, especially with critics questioning whether his win over Michael Chandler is enough to warrant a title opportunity. As a result, Pimblett is preparing for alternate scenarios and has identified 2 backup opponents he'd be willing to face if the title fight doesn't come through right away. At the top of his list is Justin Gaethje, who Pimblett believes would make for a thrilling and high-stakes matchup, potentially as a title eliminator. However, there's uncertainty surrounding Gaethje's future, as his manager has hinted that Gaethje might retire if he doesn't receive a title shot next. Given that possibility, Pimblett is also open to facing Dan Hooker, who was previously scheduled to fight Gaethje before an injury sidelined him. For Pimblett, both of these fights serve as viable stepping stones toward his ultimate goal of becoming champion, and would likely help solidify his case in the eyes of both fans and the UFC. If you're enjoying the update, don't forget, we drop UFC news 3 times a day right here on MMA Thread. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a headline. Paddy Pimblett made it clear that outside of Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker, he doesn't see many other lightweight contenders as appealing or marketable matchups, especially in the eyes of fans. In a bold and controversial statement during his appearance on the Versus podcast, Pimblett completely dismissed top contender Arman Tsarukyan, stating, "No one gives a F about him." This highlights Pimblett's belief that, while Tsarukyan may be highly skilled and ranked, he lacks the star power and entertainment value needed to generate fan interest or sell pay-per-view events. He also pointed out that Dustin Poirier appears to be on the verge of retirement, making him an unlikely future opponent. Poirier's long-standing reputation as a fan favorite and elite striker would typically make him a major name in the division, but according to Pimblett, that option is quickly fading as Poirier moves closer to calling it a career. Additionally, Pimblett mentioned Max Holloway, another top-tier fighter who's currently tied up with a high-profile BMF title fight. He acknowledged that after Holloway's upcoming war, he'll likely be out for months due to recovery, making him unavailable in the near future. By ruling out these top-ranked fighters, Pimblett is not only narrowing down his immediate options, but also positioning himself strategically. He's implying that aside from Gaethje or Hooker, no one else brings the combination of competitive legitimacy, fan interest, and storyline heat that his fights demand. This is part of Pimblett's larger strategy of building his brand around entertaining, high-stakes matchups rather than purely ranking-based opportunities, a move that reflects the modern UFC's preference for hype-driven fights over traditional merit-based bookings. Paddy Pimblett is leaning heavily on the narrative and rivalry angle to make his case for a title shot, arguing that a fight between him and Ilia Topuria would be one of the UFC's most intense grudge matches in recent history. According to Pimblett, the animosity between him and Topuria is not manufactured for promotion. It's deeply personal and genuine. He believes this feud has all the ingredients to mirror the kind of real bad blood that existed between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor, which was one of the most successful and emotionally charged rivalries in UFC history. In his words, "You don't even need to sell that fight. It sells itself." 2 people who genuinely dislike each other. Pimblett is attempting to use this personal tension as a marketing weapon, positioning himself as the ideal opponent for Topuria's first title defense, not just based on merit, but on storyline and spectacle, the very things the UFC often prioritizes when booking major pay-per-view headliners. What's more, Pimblett took the grudge even further by painting a violent picture of how he'd like the fight to go. He didn't just say he wants to win. He said he wants to prolong the punishment, stating, "I wouldn't even want to finish him fast. I want to finish him with a minute left in the fight after I've elbowed him 700 times. I want to disfigure him." This visceral, emotional statement reinforces just how personal the feud is for him, And he's using it to convince both fans and UFC brass that this isn't just another title fight. It's must-see, high-drama theater. Ultimately, Pimblett is betting that the UFC values storyline, hype, and pay-per-view potential just as much as rankings. And if they do, he sees himself as the perfect villain-turned contender to headline a blockbuster fight with Topuria. Who should Paddy fight next? Gaethje, Hooker, or go straight for Topuria? Drop your pick in the comments. And if you're new here, subscribe to MMA Thread for daily UFC content. 3 videos every single day. See you in the next one.